Okay, I've had a few email requests to go over some of the gear that I use. So I'll also start with the guitars. This is just a Fender Baja Telly. I did replace the pick guard because it actually comes with a plastic pick guard, and I can't stand the plastic ones because they pick up static electricity so much. And when you start strumming, it makes this real clicking noise and it drives me crazy. So, anyway, it's got a maple neck. It's really a fantastically made guitar. These are actually made in Mexico, but the build quality on them is superb. I got this one in particular because it has a soft V neck on it, which is the same as like on the Clapton Stratocaster that I used to own. So anyways, really great guitar. Both the guitars that I have, I think, are great values because they put the custom shop pickups in these. You know, it's got the no-caster and the twisted telly, which is the same pickups they put in a lot of their custom shop ones, but you're not paying, $2,000 for it. So this guitar is like $800, and really great value in my opinion. It plays great, sounds awesome. Then I have the Les Paul Studio. This is this year's model, I think 2012. Anyway, last year's model. And the same thing. The only thing I changed on this was I did put the hi-hat knobs on there. I prefer those a little easier to play when I'm moving it around. It's a little bit easier on my fingers than the fatter ones. But and again, this is a great value too because the tone on this thing is phenomenal. And I think it's $800 brand new, and it's got the same pickups that you find in a standard, the Burstbucker Pro. So to me, can't beat it, And the thing I like about the Les Paul a lot is that the satin neck. I really prefer that because it's so smooth, it feels so broken in, and it makes it a lot easier to play. Your hands in there, even when you're out playing and you're like on your third hour at a gig, it never gets sticky. Even if you get sweaty, it's still real nice and smooth. And I really like the satin finish on these. It's really nice. The pickups sound great. Amp-wise, I'm just using a Haze 15, and I don't play with any of the effects because it actually comes with 3 different effects, like an echo, a vibe, and a chorus. And although they are very good effects, when I turn them on, it colors the sound of the amp, and I don't really prefer that. So I just run a flat EQ, and I only really play on the overdrive side. Usually I keep the gain at about halfway, and this particular amp actually has 6v6s in it, which I really love the sound of pushing 6v6s. It sounds that creamy overdrive tone is really nice. And then it has a normal channel, which I never use. I don't really prefer the normal channel because it's really bright to me, and I don't ever play clean. I would rather have a little bit of overdrive and just turn the guitar volume down to play that type of clean. So, anyways, I think the overdrive channel on this amp is great. I know a lot of times when I do videos here in the room, I keep it really low, and it does sound pretty good. But man, when you can turn this up to like around 8 or 9, it's plenty loud and it sounds fantastic. The more you turn it up, it just really opens up, and it's very touch sensitive. The cab, I think, is really the tone. This is a really old cab, as if you can't tell. But it's got 2 vintage 30s in it, and there's a lot to be said about a cab because it's so old. The speakers are so well broken in that the sound is just enormous. It sounds so good with the Marshall. I'm trying to save up to get I'd like to get the 20 watt Marshall lead that they have, the 2061, but they're like, I can see them used for about $1,500, so that's going to be hopefully my next purchase, But for now, this amp is fantastic, no complaints at all. I did switch the tubes out on this from the stock ones, and it seemed to open it up really nice, but those hand-wired 20 watt Marshall heads are just in a class by themselves. But this is really great. This is like the poor man's version, I think, but for me, it sounds really great, and you can get a lot of great tones out of it. Pedal board wise, I don't really use very much. I just have that, you know, TC Electronics tuner, which is really great because you can tune one string at a time. Sorry about that. You can do one string at a time, where you can strum all the strings, which is great because between songs, especially in a set, it's great just to real quickly turn it on, strum the strings, and it will show you each individual one. I have this MXR Phase 90. This, if you've ever thought about getting a phaser, I highly suggest, because it's very, very warm sounding, and I'm all about simplicity. The fewer knobs, the better for me, and it's great because you can put these little rubber grommets there on the button, and you can just use your foot, and it's not going to jack up the pedal, and you can go from, you know, I don't have a wah, so you can kind of set it kind of low, and it'll kind of give you that wah sound or that real creamy textured tone. It's really great. Then I just have a micro chorus. I don't actually use this pedal very often, but I play in a classic rock cover band, and you know, we'll play like Nirvana, and we do some Billy Idol, and there's certain songs we use, and it actually is a really great pedal, and it's really warm sounding as well. It's not harsh or brittle at all. So, and you can get it's the same thing, one knob, and you can just dial in what you want, and it will really fatten up the sound. I really don't play with reverb. If you turn up a tube amp pretty good, you really don't need much reverb, and if you add a little bit of this, it really fattens it up too if you need that. So. And then I love fuzz. I've had a million fuzz pedals, it seems like, but this is the one I'm currently using, and no complaints. It's the 69 Mark II from Full Tone, and it sounds awesome. It's like a fuzz phase circuit, but it's got this contour knob, which is really great because you can dial in more muffiness or less. And with a telly, this thing screams. It sounds phenomenal. I'd highly recommend that pedal too if you like fuzz, because it's got an internal trim pot on it too that you can mess with to get even better sounds. And because I love the overdrive of my amp, I don't really use an overdrive pedal. I just use this old EP booster by Exotic. This thing's been around for years, and it's just a clean boost. It's got a flat EQ, and I think it's just, the more you turn it up, it's just more decibels of clean boost, so it just takes the natural sound of my amp and just kind of slams the front end with clean, and so it's great. I've tried a million overdrive distortion pedals, and I always just hear the pedal, and it never sounds as good as the amp. And so this thing though, it's great because it just pushes the amp and makes it even sound. It keeps the creaminess and all the rich harmonics that come from turning up a tube amp. It's all intact. It doesn't color it at all. So that's pretty much it. Pretty basic, and that's what I use. And a lot of times I'll actually just keep this on, and then switch, keep that on all the time. And then if I'm going to be using the fuzz, and if I'm not going to be using the fuzz, I just leave that off, and this would be my lead sound. And it works great with it. So anyways, that's what I use. I use Megami cables, which I've used for years, and these are super rugged. They never break down. So if you've ever thought about cables to get, my patch cables are Megami, and my regular cables, and I've honestly never had an issue with them. They've got a lifetime warranty, so once you buy them, if something goes wrong, you just take them back and they give you a fresh pair. But I've never even had to take one back, if you can believe that. So anyway, I hope that answers some of your questions. It's not much. It's pretty simple, but I think if you just, if you like the amp that you have, you really don't need much, and I'm not much of an effects guy as it is. So, okay, thanks for watching.